real problem, that we're always working on reeds. And so I would like to talk about the advantages of cane reeds versus synthetic reeds. Now, most people that you ask on reeds, they prefer cane reeds. And yet at the same time, we have this love-hate relationship with these reeds. And for good reason is that one, cane reeds warp. They can warp suddenly so that the reed will change radically and instantly in a performance or on a gig. They are inconsistent from reed to reed and from day to day. The changes that happen on a reed can be affected by the weather or the climate. They require balancing, flattening, trimming, and you have to keep them in a humidity control. So it's kind of a high maintenance issue. You accept that when you have a cane reed. The extreme registers are difficult to balance. What works in the low register sometimes is too thin in the upper register. A firmer reed that works in the upper register or altissimo doesn't work very well in the low register because it's too hard, too much resistance for it to respond. They have a relatively short life, ranging from a couple of weeks or a week to some people play them for a long time, but I have to say, looking at those reeds, I don't think I would want to play on those reeds. They promote, which is related, mold, because they're organic. They also harbor germs and viruses longer than just something that's synthetic or not porous. Typically 1 to 4 days, but certain germs can thrive for up to 13 days. So that's kind of an issue with the cane reeds. The synthetic reeds pretty much do those things better, right? They don't warp, they're consistent, they don't change with the weather, they're not high maintenance. They play very well in the extreme registers, and they have, of course, a very long shelf life. And they don't promote mold because there's nothing organic in the material, and they don't harbor germs and viruses as long. So now, why do we play cane reeds? Well, there are good reasons. Cane reeds are very flexible in the tone. So they're very expressive. You can play these different sounds easily. Synthetic reeds don't do that very well. They tend to stay right where that sound is, and they are not as flexible to do other kinds of sounds. So they feel less expressive. Cane reeds also can be easily adjusted. You can clip them, sand them, shave them, and so you can mold them to your personal taste. The vast majority of synthetic reeds you cannot adjust. And so it's a problem of getting that reed to adhere to your personal tastes. And then the third thing, something that is important to me, is that for synthetic reeds, in general, they do not fade out to nothing easily. There's some point that they want to just clip and stop. And this is really important when you're trying to play legato, where you need those notes to connect, because they'll tend to separate, so you have these slots for your notes. And so that affects legato. It affects things for ballad playing, swing, and classical music, where that release, that open release on the note is really important. And cane reeds do all of those things really well. So that's why we love cane reeds, and we don't like synthetic reeds for those reasons. Now, people say, I just don't like them, the synthetic reeds, because they're not expressive. But these three things are the reasons that they don't feel expressive. Now, there are other smaller things that are nice about cane reeds that are really convenient, is that you can alter your sound by how you place it on the mouthpiece. The synthetic reed doesn't really do that very well. You have to place it exactly where it vibrates in at optimum. You go off that much, it's really going to compromise the tone. And the other obvious thing is you have many, many choices for your cane reeds, where you really don't have that many choices, especially when you're dealing with those expressive things, because there's only one reed that I know that really does that. but that reed really hits all the points. And I've switched over to that reed on my tenor. Silverstein released this new reed, the Alta synthetic reed. The jazz one is what I use. And I was really surprised at those expressive qualities that the reed had. Now, I want to say that I'm not sponsored by Silverstein, and I'm not sponsored by any company. So these are just my opinions and my experience. I also don't play synthetic reeds on all of my saxophones. I play a cane reed on my alto and soprano. So my feeling about these reeds is that the synthetic reed is getting better and better, and they're addressing those things that matter to those of us who love cane reeds, but put up with all these other things that are just a pain in the neck, that we're willing to take a look at that. And I think it's worthwhile for you to consider looking at a synthetic reed with these points to keep in mind, because then you can really analyze it. Now, I've made another video on how to work with a synthetic reed to get the most out of your reed, specifically the Silverstein, which is what I was playing on earlier there. And I think that will help you in making that reed, the synthetic reed, successful. So I'm Steve Duke. This is saxcoach.org.